These gnomes are so cute and festive. They're so quick to make, and you don't need a lot of yarn or supplies. This is part of the 9 quick and easy knitted gift series. The whole series is linked in the description. Enjoy! So you're gonna need a glue gun, a tapestry needle, a tape measure or a ruler, a pair of scissors. These are like little wooden balls for the gnome's nose, a toilet paper roll, a little bit of string. I've got this nice decorative golden string here, some yarn, and like a novel or cardstock. And you'll need some yarn that's a beard color. First, we're gonna cut into our toilet paper roll, and we just want to cut out like 1-inch segments. So I've got my tape measure here, and I'm just gonna mark off like where the 1-inch marks are. There we go. And you can cut the rest of them if you want to make more gnomes, but for now we're just going to make this one gnome. So let's put that aside. And next we're going to prepare the yarn for the hat. So I'm going to wrap this yarn around my book. So you'll want to have a book that's roughly 7 inches, or just cut out a piece of cardboard that is 7 inches. Now we're going to wrap the yarn around our book. I'm going to wrap about 45 times around for my worsted yarn. If you've got sock weight yarn or something a bit thinner, you might want to wrap a couple more times, so maybe like 50 or 55 times. And if you have thicker yarn, you might want to wrap less. I've wrapped my yarn about 45 times. Snip my yarn here. Now I'm gonna insert my scissor underneath the yarn, cut it loose. So now we're gonna work on the hat. So I'm gonna grab one of these yarns and then put it through the tube. And then I'm going to bring this loop part over that strand of yarn at the top and then just pull it like this. So now it's attached to my little tube. So we'll do that again. I'm gonna take my yarn that I've folded in half, and I'm gonna just insert it into the tube. And then I'm gonna grab the yarn and then just slip the 2 ends through the loop, pull down, and just make that nice and even along the tube. And that's pretty much all there is. We are going to fill up the entire tube with the yarn. So again, we're putting it through, grabbing those 2 ends, and with the loop here, we'll just grab the 2 ends, pull it through the loop, and pull down and neaten up those strands of yarn so they're sitting snugly together. Now that our hat is full of yarn, we are going to push the strands of yarn through to the other side. Grab it and push it through to the other side of the tube and comb it out a little bit. So the reason why we do that is that it creates kind of like a brim of the hat and makes it look really, really cute. At this point, we're gonna grab like a tissue. Toilet paper is also fine. And I'm gonna ball up that little tissue and stick it into the hat. And now I'm going to use up an extra piece of yarn. If you don't have one, you can just cut off an extra piece and just lay it underneath my hat. And then I'll tie a knot like this. I'm gonna tie another knot to really secure it in place. You can tie as many knots as you want, but I recommend at least 2. I'm gonna cut off this yarn and it'll be part of this top of our hat. And these loose strands are gonna be our pom-pom. Trim the pom-pom. I like to do a sort of rounded shape. Here is our little hat, adorable. So if you want your gnome to be like a hanging ornament, like on a Christmas tree or on your mantle, we're gonna bring in gold yarn here. A little bit of twine is also really pretty, but I'm just gonna cut off a little length and I'm gonna tie a knot. Depending on the string that you use, you may need to do like a couple knots so that the string doesn't go through the top of the hat. So this is a pretty big knot that I've made, and now I'm going to thread up the string here and then just insert it into the hat, right into the middle of it, and pull it through. In goes the tissue, and there we go. Now we have a little string where we can hang the hat. Now we're gonna make the beard. We'll set aside the little hat here, and the book will come out again. So again, you can use a book or cardstock, totally fine. And we're gonna wrap our beard yarn around the book about like 45 times. I'm using kind of a light worsted weight yarn. If you have a thicker yarn, you can wrap much less. So if you have like a bulky weight yarn, you could wrap like 30 times around. I think that would be fine. I'll just cut off that yarn. And now we're going to slowly take this looped yarn around my book, and we'll just lay it here. I'll cut off another length of yarn, and we're just going to wrap this yarn in the middle of our loop. And I will make a little knot here, and I'll do another knot just to secure that. Now I'm going to grab my scissors and just insert it into the loop, and we'll just cut that loose. We'll do the same on the other side. So now we have this sort of a bow tie of beard, and we're going to grab our little hat, and you can just stick it into the hat. Now you can sort of see the gnome taking shape, right? All we need now is a little nose. So these are just little wooden beads that I picked up at the craft store. And now we are going to assemble our gnome. My glue gun is nice and hot, and I'm just going to put in like a big dab of glue right in the center of my beard. And then I'm just gonna like stick it in. Stick it right into the middle of my hat. And I might put a little bit just on the edge here, just to really secure that beard. Put a dab there. Put this right in the middle here, right there. Beautiful. So I've just stuck it sort of a little bit underneath the brim of the hat. So at this point, if you like the way it looks, then you can just wrap it up and gift it, or you can do a little trim around the beard. Some of the beard that looks a little bit too long or too scraggly. So now our gnome is complete, ready to be gifted or hung on a tree.